Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we discuss the film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, one flock of seagulls at a time. My name's Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mubbert.
I'm Gerald Christopher St. Alexander, the charcoal burner. He was known for being filthy and dirty. Porter.
And you know me. You know what I do for a living.
never filthy and dirty.
No.
Clean behind the ears.
This is Jim O'Kane from name a podcast, Airport Minute.
Name 5 of them.
Yeah. Rocketeer Minute. I produced but did not direct the Die Hard Minute, and of course the currently or just about to premiering Apollo 13 Minute at a iTunes or Google Play near you.
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Jim.
I always get scared when I'm on your show because I feel like I listen to your show and I realize I know nothing. So and Pete can vouch that I take copious notes, and I don't. I still feel like I have not had enough notes for these particular minutes, but we'll struggle through.
Well, you'll fit right in.
You said in the past that you've had to yell at us, screaming at your dashboard.
Yeah, you're yelling
you're just going
at
to have to yell at yourself.
What's wrong with you, O'Kane? Don't you know anything?
That's right. Now you get to do it in real life, too.
All right. Well, let's watch Jim make a complete fool of himself with minute 81,
Awesome.
Last Crusade. This is the minute that begins as Henry and Indy climb out of a bomb crater, and they run so far away, and it ends with Henry proudly strolling along the beach in the shade of his umbrella. And I really, really like the very opening shot of this minute. It's picks up from they just crashed into the crater, and there's this big completely screen obscuring cloud of smoke, and as that fades away, we got this slowly moving shot into them, like just popping their heads out of the crater in the car and everything. And there's something very nice about that. There's we just coming out of this crazy scene with the jet coming through, or not jet, but the plane coming through the tunnel and everything and blowing up, and a guy's head rolls away and stuff and crash into this crater. Now it's kind of like, okay, there's Henry, there's Indy, they're still going. It's just a nice little sort of kind of breath intake or something like that.
You know what's interesting is when Henry stands up, he actually dusts himself off.
Yeah, he takes his time.
And Indy's actually losing like about it looks like a half a box of talc was dropped on his back because it just spills off that beautiful leather jacket.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the Indiana Jones way.
And I would just like to say, Pete, the music here is fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah, this is that scherzo again.
Is that what this is?
Yeah. This is amazing, and I love that you think that, Jerry. That makes me feel great.
And I think watching the movie, it's great, but I could see like being you for a minute, and you come home from work, and you go into your conservatory, you put on your
you sing a song to the camera,
put on your little bunny
cardigan.
slippers,
finger pistols,
and you put this piece of music, on your phonograph. and you just sit back and enjoy and let the day unwind. And it's fantastic, even just not even thinking about the movie.
Yeah, that's exactly how I came home tonight and unwound. So
Now, Pete, I've been listening to you talking about the scherzo. I have a question about this. There's 4 notes in it that they kind of descend, and it goes da 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 da, which it kind of ties in with the German music, when the Germans are showing up. Have you noticed that that's the same note progression as used by Baron von Bombburst in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
No,
my God.
but I like that.
I was watching Chitty Chitty Bang Bang the other. I haven't declared the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang minute yet, but
It's just a matter of time.
But if you watch that show, every time they show Baron von Bombburst, who happens to be played by Gert Frobe, they have the same 4 notes, and I'm thinking, was John Williams copying the Sherman Brothers? I mean, it was wow.
Well, wait. Let's just be clear. I don't think the music was the only thing this movie's stolen from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I think last minute we saw a little bit of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in there too.
Well, they're running down to a beach where you could just see Dick Van Dyke having a picnic with the kids.
Yeah. And the tide comes in. They're trapped in a car. Yeah.
To use a Jerry phrase, I have a question here.
Oh, hopefully it's an excellent question.
Do I get to yell at you when I listen back to this?
Yes. Just punch that dashboard. Where are they? Where are they now in relation to Europe? I'm trying to figure out. They got on a blimp. They were leaving Berlin in any one of 360
Okay, so
degrees.
hang on. We talked about this. You weren't on it. So before we all answer and explain it, I'd love to hear where you think they are.
I think they somehow made it to Greece. They're somewhere in Greece, and they've got to cross the eastern part of the Mediterranean to get to the Republic of Hatay. My guess would be an island, one of the Greek Isles.
That makes pretty good sense, actually.
Mm-hmm.
How they get there, I have no idea. But
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking Spain, because I was thinking that's the only place that would make sense that there are German fighter planes in the vicinity that wouldn't be causing a huge international incident in 1938.
So we have you. If you look at the water, you go, okay, is that the Atlantic or is it the Mediterranean? I guess
it literally is the Mediterranean. But
yeah. Well, okay, then Greece is cool.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that maybe they're flying off that same island where they were dragging the Ark of the Covenant a couple of years back, and there's lots. Obviously there's a sub base there, so maybe they have an airfield.
Yeah, that's how they get back.
Well, I have a question for you, Jim.
Okay.
How long would it take for a plane like that to make a second pass?
I would think it would depend on how far the run is. The actual fellow that would know more about this would be one of your previous guests, Halbert.
Yeah.
Would have been able to tell you where they were going with this. But he would obviously have to do 2 legs. I don't think he'd be able to carve it, although we do watch him doing that really nice right bank.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, are we talking like 20 seconds? Or are we talking like 3 minutes?
I mean, maybe he knows where they're at, and he figures they're sitting ducks, so he just kind of does it leisurely. In this case, it looks like he has 30 seconds in. That's how long it took? I would say that's a pretty good estimate.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be flying a Messerschmitt, right? So that's going to be doing. He's got to do some turns and line up, and I think he wants to hit them headlong on the beach. He doesn't want to wind up. He wants them to have no place to run. They're not gonna run into the ocean. So he's got them backed up against the wall there, that beachhead.
You know what's interesting is you say that, but if you watch that minute, they run down that little hill, and it looks exactly like they're going to run into the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you don't know why they don't just run over to those rocks or something, like some kind of cover. That big huge rock is jutting out there.
Or get back behind the car, at least, I mean,
get back in the car.
I don't think he had more bombs on him. We're not seeing any bombs hanging off of the fuselage.
That's a good point.
How hard would it be, Jim? How hard do you think it would be to be traveling as fast as that Messerschmitt's going and shoot people on the ground with a machine gun?
Well, he's got the sight, and there's nobody else on that beach, so you just, you've played how many Battlefield 1942s have you played?
A lot, actually.
A lot.
This is on easy mode pretty much. So and as we see when he opens up his 6-shooter and there's nothing in it but holes, he's really not going to have to worry about being in a defensive posture, or is he?
Right.
Have we ever seen Indiana Jones on a beach before?
Oh, wow. Good question.
Huh.
I'm going to say no without totally thinking about it. I don't think we have.
I don't think we have either.
Huh. And have we ever seen him out of bullets before? Not having his gun, but out of bullets.
I think we've seen him have to reload. I think, haven't we?
I think
Maybe even in
was there
Marion's
a
bar or
scene in
something?
maybe in Marion's bar? Yeah.
I don't remember.
Huh. I love the I don't know how guns work and stuff, but I love the he cracks open the gun and there's that, I don't know what it is. I don't have the words for it. But that part of the barrel sort of sticking up and it's just and like it's just that punctuation of that little literally like, oh, the gun's empty. Yeah, it's really empty. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did he have time to unload his brass, though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like,
All right.
Oh no, we
Yeah. I do know that much.
did we
about
see
guns,
that?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Do we see that, Pete? You know where it is?
you mean when he lost the bullets?
Yeah.
Yeah, neither Tom nor I had seen it before, but Jerry pointed out 2 minutes ago he shoots all of his bullets at the plane that's coming at him when they're in the biplane.
Yeah, but then the shells should still be in there.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Oh, I see
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh. See, I know less about guns than Tom.
I went to summer camp.
That's
went
good.
to summer
I don't know. I can I say though that as somebody with a mild anxiety disorder, every time I see somebody, whether the gun's loaded or not, putting the gun into the front of their pants,
Oh God, yeah.
I get super nervous.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not good
madness.
trigger protocol. Yeah. I'm always worried that he's going to catch his because I have caught I've caught the whatever it's called nature's snuff box, the middle part between your index finger and your thumb. I have caught that part of my hand in a trigger, and it's very, very painful. When I see him
wow.
opening that thing up, it's like catching yourself the wrong way on a staple gun or on a real gun. Actually,
Oh
So,
wow!
yeah, not a comfortable thing.
Ouch.
Wow.
So that was
sorry to
my
hear that.
anxiety right here. Isn't it remarkable how clear Henry's glasses are after all this and the dust and the?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Many of us are glasses wearers, and I keep thinking, how does he keep them that clean?
I work in an office
hilarious.
and they're disgusting. He's running all over the place, getting shot at.
He's
Yeah.
on the beach, for heaven's sake. So
Is that a little assist from Yahweh, Jer?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, he needs to be able to see where the birds are.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
The birds that are weirdly not moving.
Oh, really?
Aw,
Oh,
now I
who-
can't unsee it.
Now who hates the movie? Pete?
Yeah. Ruining the magic of the suspension of the thing.
I actually like this because all these you can't train apparently seagulls, so they made all of these wooden seagulls or like little seagull models that are sitting there on the beach.
Oh,
And
wow.
If you notice when he walks towards them, they don't move at all.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
funny.
So it's kind of like those rubber ducks with the sunglasses that you see in everybody's local rivers, and they have
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
the more upsetting one is the really poor mat work they did on the flying bird scene, where you can see through the birds and you can see the cliff behind them. And
Yeah.
it's one of the
Yeah.
worst process shots ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot
Well,
of that.
This is a huge moment in this movie, though, because first of all, I love how Henry unsheathes his umbrella there. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a turning point because he's been passive throughout this whole movie. I mean, even when he leaned back in the chair in the castle and the stairs opened up, that was just serendipitous. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he really did anything. He didn't take any action. It was just inaction in a way. But that opened the staircase. But here, I mean, now it's his moment of action, and I'm wondering, so what is the turning point? And this is for you, Pete. What is the turning point here? Is it do you think it's, ever since he lied to his son, now he's like, you know what? I can get on board with this. I'm gonna start doing stuff. I'm
I'm an action guy too.
Yeah, I'm an action guy too. I'm gonna, this is that moment, and it's crystal clear because Indy is just standing there with this valise, and he like grabs the umbrella, and unsheathes it, and it's a very specific action.
Or is this the first time that he feels like Indy doesn't have things under control, and he's like, well, I guess now I better step in and do it for him.
Wouldn't this be the appropriate time for Indy to say to his dad, "I can't believe what you did"? I mean, because this is Henry, as far as we know, this is Henry Sr.'s first murder.
Yeah. All those
Yeah.
birds.
Well, why does Henry cluck?
Yeah, he does like a chicken sound.
He does like it's like a generic chicken cluck, and does it threaten the birds, or
They
does
hate
he
chickens.
think? Yeah, they hate chicken, or does he think he's communicating with them?
Well, chickens will eat anything. I mean, that's one of the. I mean, if you've ever seen, like, most people think that chickens are vegetarians, but they'll take anything that, like, you hear that phrase, if pigs had wings, but if pigs had wings, they'd be chickens because they eat bugs, lizards, anything they can get, other chickens, you know.
No.
So it must be like the arch enemy of seagulls would be a chicken.
You say you learn a lot by listening to our show.
I know,
I
but
had no
winged
idea.
chickens.
I didn't know that if pigs had wings, they'd just be chickens.
Yeah, they are viciously omnivorous, and
Wow.
if anything could eat a seagull, it would be a chicken.
I wanted to say I'm relieved that they're actually seagulls. I just wanted to make a flock of seagulls joke, but it turned, no one's contradicting me and saying that, oh, actually they're terns. Or
Well, they're actually
something.
They're
doves.
terns.
They're doves?
Yeah, when the birds all fly up, they're doves because they could train
okay.
those, and they had like a big sheet, and they covered the sheet with white feathers, and then they had the doves fly up, and they flung up all the feathers, so it gave this illusion of hundreds
wow.
of seagulls.
So you could do a Prince line here, then, Tom.
Oh, sure, yeah. When doves die.
Well, it's fascinating. In Raiders, we had death by working propeller, right?
Yeah,
And here we have death by broken propeller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Non-functioning propeller.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, I've got a question for you, Jim.
Okay.
If you're flying a plane and seagulls jam up the engines and the propeller, would the plane still make that zooming sound as it crashes into the mountain?
Well, remember a lot of the Stuka bombers, and I think the Messerschmitt, Hal would be the better authority on this. They all had sirens.
Oh, did this have the
whistles.
siren too? Yeah.
And a lot of them did. I mean, that was just as a terror-inspiring thing for the ground.
Uh-huh.
And, it would definitely make some kind of whooshing, especially if it had, the very non-aerodynamic things of smashed carcasses of birds hanging on it.
Yeah.
It increases the whoosh factor. So, I think it would definitely be a noisy aircraft.
I have to say that death has got to stink.
Oh, yeah. Like actually stink, you mean?
Actually stink.
Yeah.
That if you're gonna die that way, that's got to smell.
You can't wait to
horrible.
die. Yeah.
Although are Indy and Henry just suddenly starving because it just smells like roasted chicken?
Ew.
That's the next thing
Wow.
they do. Yeah.
Is this now? We joke about this movie having levity, or we fight about this movie having levity. I should say. Is this, Pete? Do you think this is dark here?
Yeah, totally.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. This is like a dark minute.
No, this doesn't feel like a funny gag. This just feels, especially after the whole Sully thing, I guess it just feels kind of like viscerally like, oh,
Yeah.
this
Well,
could really
there's a
happen.
scene. I guess
Too soon.
the scene that's kind of like all the birds that are in the screen and maybe the bad special effects or whatever. But it's just gnarly looking.
Yeah.
It's just they're all getting thrown against the propellers, and it's like, and all the birds are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just. Ugh.
Jared doesn't like it when things get harsh in his Indiana Jones movie. When they get
No,
kinda
I do. I mean,
violent.
It was
I
more
actually.
frivolity.
It's
Yeah.
what's tough about it is, like I say, it's. Well, I said this about Temple of Doom. It's a little dizzying.
Yeah.
When it gets super dark, and then it's, hey, like,
Yeah.
the guy made it through the tunnel and he's looking at us, and he gave us like a funny smile, thumbs up, and then he blows up.
Roasted corpse, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a remarkably bloodless death too. I mean, after
Yeah.
after you see
Yeah.
the big impact on the wall and there's a puff of smoke, and then we look at a completely featherless beach and a man in a waistcoat wandering up with
Yeah.
an umbrella.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like that
That's true.
explosion from Temple of Doom when the plane crashes. It just sort of
Yes.
vaporizes.
I was gonna say though, I appreciate. I feel like they saw Temple of Doom and were like, let's do this a little differently, because you don't actually see the plane hit the wall. You see Indy's reaction to it, and then it's already exploded and burning
Right.
on the wall. So you don't see that kind of like. I mean, it's annoying because you still get the kind of badly, rotoscoped or whatever, plane going over Indy's head. But yeah, I'm kind of glad we don't get that like kind of. Yeah, like weird TIE fighter explosion.
Yeah, I love that. I don't need to see the explosion. They show Indy, and he kind of cringes a little bit, like, whoa, that really happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Dad
it's
did that?
great. It's more effective than
Yeah.
showing the plane
Yeah.
crashing.
Yeah. No, I think that was well done.
That's probably much easier for them too.
Yeah.
And the thing I noticed at the end, after all of this, Indy's hat still has that perfect dimple at the top of the fedora. I mean, it's really hard to keep going. You know, his hat should be just kind of a little mound, just beautifully arched. I mean, it looks like it just taken out of the Stetson shop, and here, just block this for me.
Yeah. He has to keep fixing the brim, and bringing it back down. But yeah, no, you're right. The peak is still peak.
Are you a little surprised that the hat didn't fly off when they're flying the biplane, and then as soon as this guy crashes, the hat comes fluttering down and it lands next to Indy?
Well, it's Felix and his bag of tricks. This is a thing that he has to have, so it wouldn't be Indy without it. So it's magically connected.
Yeah.
Wait, does the hat come fluttering down to Indy?
No, I was saying that was something they could have done.
I was watching that.
Like, wait a second.
Yeah, it's got like a Harry Potter connection almost. It shows him back in Utah.
It shows me.
Is that Jim? Could this happen? It's just the question we all.
Well,
yeah, can we all
assume a
do
holy
our-
grail, and
I mean, if an entire flock of gulls or doves, whatever the hell they are, it like actually just flew up at that moment.
yeah,
Is that
I mean,
what would happen?
If there was this movie with Tom Hanks, yeah, it's pretty much like that. I mean, you can pretty much block up the engine and foul the control surfaces of a plane. And bird hits are a common problem.
Yeah.
And there's things like at Reagan Airport in D.C. There's such a problem with seabirds that they have air cannons that make regular loud noises.
Oh, yeah.
Just to keep the birds away from what happened with Tom Hanks. So I mean it's a common problem, and it's ones that you have to check for. I mean, things like that, little things like when you're doing in general aviation, well, not only in general aviation but in commercial aviation. You see the pilot do the walk around of the entire plane. He or she is looking in every nook and cranny to see if there is a bird nest or a hornet's nest or any other things that might block the proper operation of the air services.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh, wow.
Add about 200 seagulls into any of those services, and you get a problem.
Do you think Henry knew, like, oh, they'll fly up there and they'll gum up the works and clog the stuff, or was he just sort of like, I don't know. I'll send some birds up there.
Yeah. Well,
Hope for the best.
we had his we'll have it tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about his motivations, but I don't know where that would have come up in history. I mean, considering the airplane was only about 30 years old now. So I don't know what his aviation background was.
But he almost struts when he first starts off. Like, I think he knows exactly what he's doing because he like when he picks up that umbrella, he does like this almost a little dance step.
Are there any stage directions in the script, Pete? I mean, I know you follow the little things in parentheses.
That's a good question.
I was dying to know. Does it say Henry clucks like a chicken as he approaches the
No,
doves?
it says holding his umbrella, Henry suddenly spins around and runs screaming and shouting into a flock of seagulls.
So this was an interpretation by the artist.
Yeah. And then it says the seagulls take to the wing in flight, thousands of them.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm wondering if there's other takes where Spielberg is telling him, now do it turkey.
Yeah.
Now do it like a whippoorwill.
A mourning dove.
Yeah, morning dove.
Although the direction when it says when they hit the plane, it says seagulls are shredded by the Messerschmitt's whirling propeller blades into a feathery white puree.
Oh,
See, that's what I love about this scene. Good old
Attention
dark,
to detail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a nasty, disgusting way to die that smells.
yeah.
Pete, I'm surprised you haven't made more of a deal about Henry, becoming more active here.
Yeah, that didn't even occur to me. I think that's a very good point, though.
And like, what has changed? I mean, there's a monumental shift in his character right here.
But I still wonder if Henry is a secret adventurer, and he's let Indy handle things up to this point, because he doesn't start to act until Indy is completely helpless. like Indy suddenly doesn't have bullets for his gun and has nothing to do, and all of a sudden Henry's like, okay, I got this. And I wonder if he's just been waiting until his son can't handle a situation.
Because how many murders have we seen where, Henry has looked on in disapproval?
Well, because maybe they've all been like, oh, I would have killed him like this.
Yeah.
Too much energy expended. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good question, though. I don't know.
Would you say that Henry is more MacGyver-y than Indy? I mean, Indiana says, I'll make it up as I go along, but, Dad's doing it here, but he seems to have come up with a better, faster plan that worked.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd say absolutely.
Yeah.
He
And,
made
and
it up
it,
as
you
he
know,
went.
it makes you wonder, like, is how's he going to see the world now? Differently?
Do you think that satchel and the umbrella is from Q Branch? I'm just wondering
Yes.
what his background is that we don't know about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what's got that handy umbrella cozy in the satchel. That's from little support from Q Branch. Yeah.
Can we imagine Indy doing the same move or not?
I can't imagine him thinking of it.
I can't
Yeah,
imagine
that's a
having
great
an umbrella.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so here's the question: what would Indy have done had he been alone here?
I want him to run for those rocks just for some kind of cover. That's all I want him to do. Just be safe, Indy.
All he really has to do is stay on either side of that rock in the background, which
Yeah.
is known as the Friar's Cat. I think it's in Spain.
Oh.
But yeah, he just watches the plane, and the plane will do an Immelman and turn around and come back the other way.
He
And then
just
he'll just
runs
run
the
around
other
the
side.
back of it.
Yeah.
Well, eventually, the 109 will run out of bullets, and then he can just
There you go.
walk home.
I can see that.
Yeah. He could have done it Rancor style and just thrown a big rock at the plane.
Yeah.
Well, I guess his plan was to sit there on the beach and shoot at the plane.
Originally, yeah.
Yeah,
That doesn't seem
originally.
like a great plan
He's-
either.
Yeah, he
No.
used 6 bullets.
It doesn't work so far.
He knows what's up. He's like, Dad, he's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He I keep thinking of the scene from Patton where he's like, just pulling out the gun and the bullets are landing all around him but not hitting Patton. And
Yeah.
he would probably be standing there with a gun, he'd shoot the guy between the eyes while the guy was unloading at him with a machine gun on the plane and not hitting.
Yeah.
There's his plan. Okay.
Well, do we have anything else for minute 81? on the
Well, wait a
beach.
minute. There is something
The
coming
stink
alive
of dead
here.
birds. Oh, what's that?
Coming through the wires.
What do you mean? Wires?
Oh,
the wires.
This just in from Professor Christy Porter. Does it mean something that the gun doesn't work against the plane, but the bumbershoot and birds do? The good old organic ways work best.
The umbrella's an Ewok against the tyranny of the Empire.
I hate you.
That's fair.
But what's a bumper shoot?
It's an umbrella.
An umbrella.
Oh.
You don't
Okay.
have a totally dorky dad who calls them bumper shoots?
I've never heard that. No.
You get to do it too? You pass it on to your son?
And we thought that Jim O'Kane was going to embarrass himself.
See? I got your back, Jim.
The show isn't over. Yeah.
Well, I guess so. So here's a minute, though, just to be clear. Here's a minute where an old guy actually does something.
That's
Wow.
true.
Yes.
You were wondering before
Is
if
it
there's a
our
little
first minute?
ageism
Yeah.
going on in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel really good about this.
All right.
Wow.
Well, Jim, thank you for joining us today. This has been awesome.
Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful again.
And you, as one of the busiest people on the internet, should take about half an hour now and tell people where they can find you.
Well, actually, I would like, if people haven't been listening, and they should be, Hal and I, of several minutes ago, Hal and I previously finished the Rocketeer Minute, where not only did we talk 109 episodes of one of the greatest Disney movies ever made, But we also managed to get the star himself, Billy Campbell, the Rocketeer, to like the show so much he came on for about 30 episodes.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You can check that out at rocketeerminute.com or wherever fine podcasts are distributed. Also, please check me out in June, beginning hopefully June 9th, unless something horrible goes wrong. June 9th, we'll be starting the Apollo 13 Minute, and we will actually have people who have been to the moon
awesome.
on the show. And
That's
many
incredible.
other surprises. And we're trying to record as fast as we can just in case they change their minds. But join us at apollo13minute.com.
Awesome. We will do that. Everyone listening, you please come back here tomorrow for minute 82 of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Jim, can you make that noise, that siren noise?
No, I can't. I only do that when I'm asleep.
Can you make that air cannon noise at Reagan International?
Well, imagine this, only about 100 times louder.